You are tuning in to Fabulous and Fortunate, a Monáe's Musings production.
Greetings, and welcome back to another episode of Fabulous and Fortunate. I am your host, Amayah Monáe, and I am very excited to share this conversation with you today. I feel like I say that every single time, but I really do be excited to talk to you. Like, this brings me so much joy. And I hope that anything I say on here on this podcast helps you in your own life or provides you entertainment or it just gives you a new perspective to think about. So today we are discussing the power of colored hair. Hair color is not just a fashion statement. It's truly a reflection of who we are, what we are embodying, and the energy we are stepping into. Each color carries a vibration, influencing both our personal energy and how others perceive us. Okay, so have you ever noticed how a fresh hair color can make you feel like a literally new person? That's because it's more than just a dye, it's transformation. Colored hair goes beyond the aesthetics. It's about our identity, our self love, and our personal elevation. So think about it. Have you ever dyed your hair a color and then immediately afterwards you felt completely different? Like you can't really describe it, but maybe you held your hair up a little higher, or, when you looked in the mirror, you saw yourself as a different person, or it even awakened some parts of you that you thought never existed or lay dormant. That's because our hair is closely tied to our self love and our identity. And I know, especially for Black women, our hair is a very big part of how we show up in the world. You know that feeling when you get your hair done and how different you feel afterwards, and you might sway side to side more, or you might be more willing to share conversations with people. There's a reason for that. That's because hair is never just hair. It's a literal extension of our personality. That's why our hair means so much to us. And, sometimes when people embark on a different journey in life, they will literally cut off all their hair because hair does hold energy. So think about it. If the concept of hair holding energy is true, imagine how elevating your hair can be if you were to change its color. I know anytime that I wear platinum or I have my platinum braids or my red braids, I feel completely different about myself. I can't describe it to you, but I feel like that girl. It's like I know I'm that girl when my hair is platinum or blonde. There is nothing you can tell me because my hair is platinum, my hair is blonde. I'm that girl. And, they do say blondes have more fun. I think that there's a psychology explanation for that, a psychological explanation for that, why blondes have more fun. And I will actually go into the colors more in depth here in a second. But basically, to set the tone for this entire episode, it is so true that our hair color and how our hair is styled impacts how we show up. I feel like our hair is one of the only parts of our body that we can just change on and off, and we know it's temporary. We know it's not going to stay the same. When you get a tattoo, that's pretty permanent. When you get your ears pierced or your nose pierced or your lips pierced or anything else pierced in your body, that's pretty permanent. Even if you take the piercing out, you're probably always going to have that hole or scar or whatever. With our hair, it's different. And I think that's why it's so elevating to change it. We know that if we wear this colored wig, we know that our hair our real hair isn't being damaged in the process, right? We can just take the wig off and then, return to our lives. Just like Cinderella, in the story Cinderella, after midnight, after the clock struck 12, everything changed, and, the carriage turned back into the pumpkin, and, her dress became all tattered, and she was a different person after 12. She was able to take off that persona. And that's a whole nother thing. Like, I love that story for so many reasons, but I think the story of Cinderella ties in beautifully into this, because when she changed her hair and when she put on that beautiful gown and she presented herself in the way that she truly was, she felt extremely different, even if it was just for a few hours. She was no longer Cinderella the maid. She was no longer Cinderella the abused stepdaughter. This was a beautiful, mysterious woman that no one knew who she was, and she came to this ball and she had all these fancy clothes on and she danced with the prince. I highly doubt she would have been able to tap into that, persona, that superstar type of energy, had she not been wearing the dress, right? Had she not had her hair a certain way. And I think that we can tie that in beautifully to how our hair is elevating, because hair is a temporary thing. We can change our hair like we change our clothes, right? So it's one of those things about our aesthetic, about our appearance, that we typically have full control and full reign over. And we can kind of manipulate our hair to match a certain vibe, or manipulate our hair to represent the stage of life that we're in. And I think that is so beautiful. So next, I really want to talk about the symbolism of certain colors of hair. Different colors of hair, to me, carry different meanings. So I want to start with red, because I recently tried red, and I have tried red hair before. But recently I tried like a fire truck red, and oh my gosh, when we think of red, we think of fire, right? Like courage, sensuality, action. And I feel like red hair symbolizes intensity and owning your desires. It is the color of our root chakra. And this is the chakra that deals with our grounding, our primal instincts, commanding attention. So I feel like if you change your hair to red, it's kind of like you're stepping into your power, reclaiming your sensuality, and you're not waiting for the world to give you permission to be yourself. Think about it. We've seen Zendaya wear red hair, right? And her sensual prowess. And most infamously, we've seen Rihanna, right? With her red era. That entire Loud era, where she released Loud and she had the flaming red hair, and, she was just being herself, and she's coming out with this new sound. I think she matched her hair to be red on purpose, because I think superstars get this and celebrities get this. Like, your hair color dictates so much of your appearance. And that leads me to the next color, blue. Blue is the color to me that's giving intuition, inner peace, the deep thinker, Aquarius vibes. I really am digging it. And I feel like blue gives off tranquility, wisdom, whimsicality, and mystery. Blue is associated with our throat chakra, and this chakra represents self-expression and clarity. And I feel like people with blue hair often carry this air of mystery while also exuding this whimsical vibe. Think about when you've seen someone with blue hair. It's really giving, okay, this person does not care what I think, because if you can walk out of the house with blue hair, like, I know you don't care what I think about you, because look at you, you have blue hair, And I just love that. I love when I see someone wearing blue hair. I'm like, this person does not care what I think. They don't care what they think, he thinks, she thinks, and I just love that. And I feel like for people who are in a phase of like deep thinking and personal truth and communication breakthroughs, blue is very liberating. Think about Billie Eilish when she had her blue hair, or Katy Perry. It was very playful with them, but very intentional, right? Like when you wear blue hair, you're wearing it for a reason, basically. The next color I want to discuss is purple hair. I recommend wearing purple hair when you want to get in your divine, feminine, goddess, royalty energy, which is an energy that we all should be tapping into more, right? Purple hair is giving royalty. It's giving, this is my higher self, take it or leave it. It's giving spiritual awakening, magical. And the color purple is tied to our crown chakra. And this makes it a very high vibrational color, linking it to spirituality, enlightenment, and even our own creative geniuses. A lot of people dye their hair color to be purple during a deep healing phase, aligning with their higher self, or when they're going through a personal transformation. And I believe that the color purple is perfect for personal evolution, expressing their inner magic, and even stepping into a divine energy. And the piece about spiritual awakening is so beautiful because one of my favorite books is The Color Purple. Go figure, right? By Alice Walker. That is one of my favorite books, not only because of how she talks about God in that book, but because of how she describes the color purple. It truly is a magical color, and it's everywhere in nature if you're looking. And I think the color purple is just such a magical, ethereal color because it's not like any other color if you think about it. Purple is its own thing, and it definitely gives its own energy. Think about Prince. He was this mystical genius, and he used the color purple very strategically in his branding as an artist. He had the Purple Rain album. He used to dye his hair purple. He would wear purple outfits. Everything of Prince was purple. And that's connecting him to that higher royalty state because Prince was very spiritual. His music is very deep, and it's no surprise, right? So the next color I want to discuss is the color green. I feel like when we dye our hair green, we are symbolizing our rebirth, a nature connection. We're getting back to our heart chakra, and it also represents fresh starts. Think about it. The color green symbolizes healing, renewal, and alignment with nature. It's a powerful color for people who are shifting into new beginnings, who do have deep self-care and who are embracing inner peace. It's ideal for anyone wanting to release old, stagnant energy, anyone who wants to embrace a fresh start, or anyone who simply wants to balance harmony and love. Celebrities with green hair include when Billie Eilish dyed her hair neon green, because I think she was doing it as a form of rebellion and like self-reinvention. When she came out with that green hair color, literally everyone was talking about it. It was all over the news, all over social media, just because she dyed her hair green. Because I think we all knew that this was her symbolizing her fresh start. Her symbolizing, okay, like I'm doing things the Billie Eilish way. And she continued to solidify herself as an icon after that. So the next color I want to discuss is, drumroll please, the color yellow. Oh, the color yellow / blonde / platinum blonde. I talked about this earlier, how when I have my platinum blonde braids in, I feel like that girl. So the color yellow and blonde is tied to magnetism, playfulness, and lightness. It symbolizes high vibrations, optimism, and ultimate joy and bliss. An energetic influence includes our solar plexus chakra. And this is the chakra that deals with our radiance, our confidence, and our manifestation power. Blonde or yellow hair often signifies carefreeness, radiance, and magnetism. It's ideal for people who want to exude their warmth and embrace their glow. Think about it. Celebrities with blonde hair, we remember them. Think about Marilyn Monroe. She had that seductive magnetism down packed. Madonna, she's an icon, right? An icon who's confident and shows up in her truth, no matter how anyone feels about it. And last but not least, Miss Beyonce. Come on. Beyonce has got that platinum thing down packed, that Oshun goddess energy. She wears it very well, and she is very intentional about using blonde for most of her career. You will rarely ever see Beyonce with dark brown or black hair because she knows that her blonde and her platinum is a superpower for her. And I'm sure it makes her feel even more like that girl when she is wearing the blonde. It makes you look at her. When someone has blonde hair and is platinum blonde, it makes you look at them. It does, because it's a very eye-catching color, and it's a very high vibrational, ethereal energy type of color as well. So now that I've gone through some of the colors, I want to talk about why we do feel different after a color change. Besides the psychological impact, about how colors shift our self-perception and how others see us, our hair holds so much energy, and changing it can be like a reset. And there's a quantum connection to the thing as well. Our intentions behind hair color can manifest as new versions of ourselves. There are some hair colors I have not tried yet, but I am very excited to try them because I'm like, well, if I feel like this with red, I wonder how I'd feel with this color, or I wonder how I'd feel with this color or this color. I want to share a quick little anecdote about how when I changed my color, how when I changed my hair color, it affected how I showed up in my life. So I recently, decided to experiment with a fire red hair color. And I've been wearing my hair red for like the past, week and a half, 2 weeks. And the difference that I have felt is like, it's wild. I'm like, oh my gosh, like who knew? Like all I needed to solve my problems was to put on a red wig. Like, who knew? And the feeling of liberation I got from not asking anyone for permission to change my hair color, it's so addicting. You get used to making bold decisions and not caring what people think. But hair color is one of those things where if you change it, it's no one else's business. If they don't like it, who cares? Do you like it? Do you like your hair color? And I think that changing our hair is one of the best self-care tools that we can give ourselves. If we have the ability to change our hair color, I think it's one of the best and most funnest self-care things you can do for yourself. Because when you dye your hair and you do your hair differently, it forces kind of your brain to rewire itself. So if you've been stuck or you've been stuck in this loop, try changing your hair color. Try trying a hair color you would have never ever worn before. Try it and see how it makes you feel. If you could never see yourself wearing green hair, maybe that's the hair you need to try. And I think so many of us are hesitant to experiment with hair color because, we do want to come off as respectable, we want to come off as professional, respectable, members of society. But guess what? Are we actually respectable and professional members of society 24/7? And even if that's what it means to be, respectable, who polices hair? It's literal hair. You can go to a retailer and get a wig for like $20. That's a hair color you never would have tried, but it's not your real hair, so who cares? So I encourage you, if you've never dyed your hair, what is keeping you from doing it? Or if you've never tried a colored wig, what is keeping you from doing it? Hair is one of the most temporary things we can change. It grows back. We can put on a wig and then our real hair is still under there, perfectly intact and growing and thriving. So really, what is stopping you from experimenting with your hair color and trying new things? Here are some tips I have for stepping into bold color choices. I would start subtly at first if you want to, and find colors that match your energy, but use temporary dyes first. I would experiment with wigs, experiment with extensions, if you get your hair braided, experiment with different colors, experiment with different colored threads in your hair, and just see how you feel. So, the final takeaway I have for today is the way that we show up in the world should reflect who we are becoming. If you feel drawn to a certain hair color, maybe it is your soul calling you to step into that energy. I would encourage you to embrace a color that aligns with your growth. If you could dye your hair any color right now, what would it be and why? Thank you so much for tuning in today on this conversation with Fabulous and Fortunate. I hope that some parts of this message resonated with you. And if so, please feel free to subscribe to stay up to date with new episodes. And also share this podcast if you feel called to share it. And I look forward to speaking to you again soon on the next episode of Fabulous and Fortunate. I hope that you enjoy experimenting with your personal style and feeling in your goddess energy. And until we meet again, may you be blessed, loved, and happy. And experiment with your hair color and switch things up a little bit. Okay. Talk to you next time. Peace. Mwah.
This has been Amayah Monáe with Monáe's Musings. And until we speak again, may your head and your heart speak with one voice. Peace.